All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final video in the first week of the Sell Ops program. It is Dakota Burford coming at you live from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. I want to simply start by welcoming each and every one of you to today's video, which is going to be titled The Art of Influence and Persuasion. And I want to also simply congratulate each and every one of you who stayed focused in week one and made it to today's video, the final video in week one of the Sell Ops program. You guys are already ahead of the majority of people that are in this program, believe it or not. This is going to be an extremely important module that's going to kind of wrap up and build the foundation for you as a social engineer and ultimately a human hacker. It's going to be a super important video. So do whatever you've got to do, but close out your distractions on your PC. Place you guys' phones on silent. Grab a notebook and a pen because you're going to want to take notes and finish week one super strong. So today's video, again, is going to be titled The Art of Influence and Persuasion. And in today's video, we are going to be going through a couple of very insightful things. So here's today's agenda. 1, we're going to talk about the introduction to influence and persuasion. 2, the 6 fundamentals of influence and persuasion. 3, authority fundamental. 4, commitment and consistency fundamental. 5, liking bias fundamental. 6, reciprocity fundamental. 7th, scarcity fundamental. 8th, social proof fundamental. 9, misjudgment incentives. And 10, mastering the art of influence and persuasion. So let's rock and roll with part number 1. An introduction to influence and persuasion. Now, persuasion is a skill that can enable you to influence a person's beliefs, attitudes, intentions, motivations, perceptions, and even behaviors, right? Persuasion is used in presidential campaigns, it's used in elections, it's used in sales, management, influencer roles, marketing, advertising, promotions, and quite frankly, guys, it's a part of our everyday life as consumers and peoples in today's world because we are getting influenced and persuaded every single day, whether we see it or not. It comes down to you're being persuaded in the actual clothes that you wear, the brand of the clothes that you wear. You're being persuaded on the actual car that you drive. You're being persuaded on the watch that you wear. You're being persuaded on the shoes that you wear. You're being persuaded and influenced at the places that you hang out, the people that you work with, the people that you hang out with, and the places that you go. Persuasion can be used with good intentions, and it can also be used with bad intentions. However, mastering the art of persuasion and influence can give you a huge edge and make your life very easy when it comes to getting the things that you want out of life. Now, Warren Buffett claims that much of his success came from a $100 sales, influence, and communication course that he took in college. And he also claims that without that course that he took on communication, sales, and influence, he would have never been able to build the $108 billion net worth that Mr. Buffett has today. And what Mr. Buffett says in this quote here is, I don't have my diploma from the University of Nebraska hanging on my office wall. I don't have my diploma from Columbia up there either. But I do have my Dale Carnegie graduation certificate proudly displayed in my office. So what does that tell you? Communication, influence, and persuasion is the real key to Warren Buffett's success, why he's been able to be so successful. He doesn't have his college degree on the wall. He has his Dale Carnegie course on influence, persuasion, and of course, sales on his wall. So the problem with sales training today is majority of people, they are teaching it, but they're not teaching the elements that actually set the foundation, these scientific components that make up influence and persuasion. And without knowing these things, you can't influence at your peak potential. You can't persuade at your peak potential because you cannot do something that you do not understand from a foundational and a scientific level. It is impossible. So without this foundation, you're never going to be able to stack the deck in your favor and make persuasion and influence so damn powerful in your interactions. So in today's training, I'm not going to give you a few, low-level tactics. I'm actually going to take you through the science of influence and persuasion and set you up for success to where you can understand it academically, scientifically, and then be able to apply it in your everyday life. The principles that I'm about to share with you should be used in all of your marketing efforts, all of your sales efforts, all of your human hacking efforts. I don't care if you're looking to close a $10 million deal, persuade a girl to go on a date with you, or persuade your kids to do their damn chores. All these foundational components that you're going to be learning today can be leveraged. And if you're not using each and every one of them already, this module is going to completely change the game for you when it comes to being a master of influence and persuasion. So let's start with part number 2, the 6 fundamentals, the actual scientific fundamentals that make up influence and persuasion and make it so damn powerful. Now, there are 6 scientific foundational fundamentals that really make up influence and persuasion. Majority of people fail to leverage all 6 of these elements in their interactions, which ends up disabling them to do their actual job when it comes to influence, persuade, and of course, human hack. And if you want to become a master, a true master, the Pablo Picasso of influence and persuasion, and really master this art, you have to nail and understand all 6 of these components in every single social engineer or human hack that you go into. And these 6 components start with 1, authority bias, 2, social proof bias, 3, commitment and consistency bias, 4, liking bias, 5, reciprocity bias, and 6, scarcity bias. So as you can see off to the right, we have influence and persuasion, and we have these 6 foundational pillars, foundational components. Consider this the foundation of your influence and persuasion building. This is what holds the entire building up. And if we don't leverage all of them, the building, of course, falls. So let's start with the first one at the very top, which is called the authority bias. Now, the first foundation to true influence and persuasion is authority. And having authority gives you the power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior, while giving you the power to make commands and almost enforce obedience, like you're talking to an animal or whatever it may be. So stop and consider this for just one moment. Would you rather take medical advice from a random person walking down the street or a doctor in an office with a lab coat and a badge? Who would you take medical advice from? If the doctor in the badge and the coat asked you to take a pill, would you take the pill? But if a random guy is walking down the street and sees you and tells you to take a pill, are you going to take the pill? You see, many people are willing to be treated by a doctor in a coat with a badge because they are deemed to be credible and an authoritative expert when it comes to medicine, just because they have that coat on and that badge. However, on the flip side, the guy walking down the street who is no one, you're not going to want to take a pill from him. You're not going to take medical advice from him if he doesn't look the part, are you? Probably not, right? So ultimately, this is exactly the kind of divide that you would see ordinarily. When there is an appeal made to authority, the one who is knowledgeable wins out. The one deemed to be more authority due to credentials or experience always ends up winning in the end, and this happens over and over and over. Whoever has the most authority, of course, is going to win the game. This means that when you want to appeal to authority, what you need to do is make sure that you find a way to make it clear that you are, in fact, an authority on the subject, an expert on this subject, and a true force to be reckoned with. So in car sales, the guy that I buy all of my Mercedes from, you walk into his office, he's got top producer of the month, he's got pictures of happy customers, he's got pictures with Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, all these athletes that he sold cars to, and he actually drives an S550. So he drives the car that he actually sells. That makes it very easy. I look at him as, wow, He's selling cars to all these people. He's got celebrity people buying cars from him. I want to buy cars from him. He's got rewards. He's talented. He's an expert. He knows his shit. This is who I want to buy a car from. In marketing, you're going to need a high-end website. You're going to need testimonials. You're going to need experiences, and you're going to need top authority clients. You're going to want some premium press, Forbes, Entrepreneur.com, Yahoo Finance, whatever it may be. And you may want some actual social proof or endorsements from an actual celebrity or maybe even an athlete. Attorneys, a degree from Harvard, a suit, a Rolex, magazines, premium press, cases won, customer reviews, picture with celebrity athletes. All of this stuff builds authority for an attorney. Doctors, degrees, jackets, rewards, magazines, premium press, pictures with the celebrity or high influential people. That all builds authority. Trainers, physical trainers, gym trainers, nice car, huge muscles. They've won multiple bodybuilding competitions. They have a lot of raving clients who went through dramatic body transformations. These are all things that build authority, right? So authority is super, super, super important. So let me show you just in marketing how you can build authority. So if you look at one of our company's sites, so let's pull Luxvoni up. All right. So here's the Luxvoni site. You come to this site, you're looking for a sales funnel, you're looking for help with marketing, and what do you see? Meet the elite who have partnered with Luxvoni. We've got Prezi, massive company, Intuitive, Beverly Hills Publishing, Chris Brown, Radical Body Transformations, ATI Training, Better PT, Surefire Local, Hendricks Automotive Group, Elite Results Marketing, which is Craig Bond's deal, Prezi, On the Mark Training, Meineke, Nick Cooper, the DLB Center, Thrive Union, Capital Gain Tax Solutions, Rach Law, Science of Buying Academy, Marcus Oden, the NFL player, Dinesi, Dan Lear, Tony Robbins' former sales director, Aldi, Insurance Millionaires, Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, U.S. Health Advisors, $900 million company, Smile Direct Club, BarkBox. You see that? That is how you build authority. You scroll down, you show that we're experts in our fields, you show designs. You've got social proof from Jordan Belfort, Nick Cooper, Brad Lee, Marcus Oden, Dan, Russ Darrow. Go down a little more. More social proof, more social proof, more social proof. So authority is very, very important for you guys to leverage in influence and persuasion. So that's one of the keys. You got to have your authority bias on point. You don't want to be influenced and persuading if you're not an expert in the subject. It makes it very difficult to do your job and get to the result. So that first thing that you must nail every single time, sales call, marketing, no matter what it is, you must have authority all the time, no matter what. Part number 4, social proof bias. This is the second component, the second foundational component that is going to make you successful in influence and persuasion. Now, social proof is a psychological and social phenomenon when people copy the actions of others to undertake the behavior that they took in a situation. So people tend to conform in order to be liked by, or accepted by influencers or society. In Charlie Munger's 25 Continental Biases of Common Human Misjudgment, we spoke about, in our last module, the 16th common misjudgment bias is called social proof tendency. And this tendency states that you look at other people, their status, their group, and you act the way that they actually act. When you don't know what to do, you decide to do what you see around you, what you see the people doing around you. So if you grew up in a family full of entrepreneurs, you're more likely to follow an entrepreneurial path. If you're at a party and all your peers start dancing and you're the only one in the room not dancing, how do you feel? You feel awkward. You feel like you got to dance too because everybody else around you is dancing, even if you suck and know you suck at dancing. You're going to feel uneasy if you don't do that, and you're probably going to start moving a little bit and do a little dance yourself, right? That's the social proof bias. Now, let's say you're a sales trainer and you're looking to grow your business. You see a unique ad inviting you to an exclusive training where this elite internet marketer is going to show you how to increase your business's revenue, sell more courses, do less and make more, all over a free training. And you see this ad, you click on the ad, you hit this landing page. It asks for, your name and email address. Before you enter it, you scroll down a little more. You start looking around and you're like, wow, I'm a sales trainer. Damn, Jordan Belfort's worked with these guys. I'd love to have Jordan's business. They worked with Cardone too. Man, Cardone's making $100 million a year with Cardone U. If I could just make 10% of what Cardone U's, I'd be off to the races, man. This is great. And then you go through, enter your name, enter your email, and you watch the training because there is social proof. There is people that you look up to endorsing the particular product or the particular training that you are about to click on. So then let's do the complete opposite. Let's say, you click an ad, you hit a landing page, and on the landing page it's blank. There's no testimonials, there's no social proof. You automatically think to yourself, just another one of these goofy ass people trying to sell me some course. And then you exit the window and you go back to social media and you just keep on scrolling away like majority of us do. Now, let's say you're a sales trainer looking to grow your business. And, you go through that and you really get to it and you realize, man, this guy's got a lot of endorsements and all of that. All of a sudden, you're all into the training. Not only have you entered your information into the training, you pay attention to the actual training because there's social proof. You see, humans want to see social proof. They want to use the same products and services that their peers are using. That's the way it's always worked, and that's the way it always will. So if you're selling marketing services and the people that they look up to are using your services, guess what? You have massive social proof. If you're selling a product like Los, who's he's a part of the collective. His partner Josh owns Snow, which is a teeth whitening company. They paid Floyd Mayweather a fortune to endorse that company. A fortune. Why? Automatic social proof. Floyd Mayweather uses it. Shit, I need to use it too. You see what I'm saying? People want social proof and they want to use the same products and services that their peers are using. So here's some examples of social proof. 1, case studies. Data-driven, in-depth analysis of the product or service that you provide to a current customer. That's 1. 2, testimonials. Simple, short-form recommendations from happy or raving customers or previous customers that you have serviced or you have delivered a product to. 3, references. Long-form recommendations with an email for the viewer to use to reach out to a previous customer and ask about their experience working with you. 4, third-party reviews. Using a third-party review site can help you add some power to your testimonials because it builds social proof because it's third-party. 5th, premium press. Being featured on publications like Forbes, Yahoo Finance, Entrepreneur.com really adds a lot of authority and social proof to your name, to your image, to your business. 6, numbers. Customer-generated profits, customers saved, customers helped, customer amounts, social media following. Those things all help with social proof. And 7th, last but not least, very powerful one, celebrity association. Having photos, references, testimonials from a celebrity or influential people can amplify your social proof by 10x if it's positioned correctly. Your social proof will amplify by association. So me running around with Jordan Belfort, that helps my image. Me running around with Nick Cooper, the vocal coach who is behind Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Kesha, Sierra Harris, all these big, these big celebrities. Me being associated with that builds me up. Me being associated with NFL players, having them as clients, that builds me up. Me having association with car dealerships and variety of, entrepreneurs who own 20, 30 car dealerships. That gives me authority in that space, social proof in that space, right? So let's talk about part number 4. The next pillar of this influence and persuasion foundation. That is the commitment and consistency bias. Now, the commitment and consistency bias is another extremely important foundational component in influence and persuasion. People want their beliefs and behaviors to be consistent with their value and, of course, self-image. Firstly, we tend to view consistency as a very attractive social trait and, basically indicates that someone is rational, trustworthy, stable. And, we all want to be seen as inconsistent and not irrational, not consistent, and not being able to be relied on, right? So secondly, the commitment and consistency principle is a mental shortcut that we use to simplify our decision making as humans. We are given so many decisions to make daily. We reduce this amount of decisions by using PACE decision as a reference for related choices. The consequences of this cognitive bias is that we act in ways that are consistent with our initial action or thought. So we commit to something or someone, we actually stick to it, right? We also try to behave in ways that are consistent with the image that we portray to others and what the public image has for us. For me, I don't drink. I'm professional everywhere I go. I don't do drugs. I don't dance. I don't act goofy. I don't act stupid. I don't act, I feel like a client is going to see me at any given time. So I act like that, right? People love to be consistent. It is valuable. It is, very important to be consistent. And because of that, people will usually continue to follow through even if they don't like it and don't want to continue, because they just have to keep their word and they have to be shown as a consistent person. For example, let's say you asked your neighbor, who happens to be a coworker, for a ride to work one day, right? And it's literally no inconvenience because you both travel to work the same ways and his office is in the same building that yours is. And after several drives in which your coworker takes you to work, it eventually becomes expected and you no longer must ask your coworker to pick you up. He pulls up, beeps the horn, and he waits for you every morning. And you're simply waiting by your neighbor's car, before and after work each day to catch that ride, right? Effectively, the first time they agreed to take you, they locked themselves into a chain of just constantly and repeatedly being asked for rides and agreeing to do this on a regular basis. However, they only agreed to do it once, right? But then they had to be consistent. They had to be committed, so it was the right thing to do, and they continued to give you rides. Now, you can trick people into doing things for you with this. So if you want something, such as maybe wanting your coworker to cover a shift for you, or maybe you want them to cover an entire days of work for you, right? You may start by asking questions with them, building rapport, having some small talk, and then you might mention that, you have a friend coming into town that you haven't seen in 10 years. And this friend is flying all the way in to see you. But your asshole boss or your asshole manager says you've got to work. And you haven't seen this person in 10 years. You want to see him, but you just got to work. Well, this person that you're speaking to is already feeling the empathy, already feeling the pain that you're going through. They're already thinking, they're already thinking in their head, maybe I can take a shift. Maybe I can help them. Maybe I can. They've already begun to say yes. So when you ask them to cover your shift, they were already expecting it. It's pretty easy for them to do. And then, of course, reciprocity kicks in. And next time they need their shift cover, you're automatically committed and consistent to cover their shift because they did you a solid. Now you got to do them a solid, right? So let's talk about part number 4, the actual liking bias of influence and persuasion. Now, this is one of the most straightforward foundations of influence and persuasion. All you need to remember is that the more you like someone or something, the more likely you are to feel whatever you like is actually valuable, and the more likely you are to be convinced in its actual favor. So to start, you are more likely to pay someone, do something, or fix something for someone that you actually like. Second, you are not likely to pay someone, do something, or fix something for someone that you hate, that you despise, that you can't stand. Third, so how do you get people to like you? That's the third piece here. How do you get people to open up to you and actually like you as a human being? Well, you can start by mirroring them, covertly copying their behaviors until they begin to like you. If mirroring isn't authentic enough for you, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you can just simply start by making some sort of connection between yourself and the other party. Perhaps you make it a point to comment on similar hobbies, a watch, a location, maybe talk about having a child that's the same age as theirs, whatever. It's very easy to get through and actually get into that. Sorry, guys. Clicker. Now that you have an actual connection made with that person, you're going to want to make eye contact with them. You're going to want to continue to talk with them. You may offer the other party some praise or a compliment on one of their accomplishments. You want to act empathetic, like you genuinely care about that particular person. You care about their input, what they think, their views, their opinions, their beliefs. And, they catch all this as a compliment and they feel it, and you keep pushing. And, you generally mean it, and you end up being liked, right? So if you want to be likable, you must make it clear that the two of you are on the same side, same team. Perhaps you point out that you will both be working together towards getting, the other person a car. Maybe you set some goals together, from fitness goals. Maybe you convince them that you will both try to solve problems together, with each other. And once everything is set, you kind of start operating as partners, teammates, and that really helps. So what I would recommend that you guys do, if you want to be liked more, make a connection with people, offer a compliment, create a sense of teamwork, and that will get you to the goal. When it comes to leadership, the liking bias, the reason why I'm able to lead a sales team so well, and get people to operate at levels that they never operated at, is because I make a connection with each and every person in that room. I tell them, hey, not too long ago, I was in your position. Not too long ago, I was here too. Now, I know you've got greatness inside you, and I know you want to be great. I know you want to accomplish everything that they said that you couldn't. And to do that, me and you're going to have to be together. Me and you're going to have to train. Me and you're going to have to commit. And we're going to have to do whatever the fuck it takes to get you to where you want to go. Now, I'm not a nice guy. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not here to pat your back. I'm here to evolve you into a true human hacker and closer. So you can close everything that you want in life. And the talent that I'm going to show you through this is going to take you to a completely different level, to where you're not going to worry about a job. You're never going to have to interview again, because you're going to hold one of the most powerful talents on the planet, and that's how to close. So that's the connection that I make with the person. And then I offer a compliment. Hey, dude, you've done good up to this point. You've done very well. We're rocking and rolling. Great job. But we got to get moving. We got to start bumping these numbers up. And when they achieve something, I give them praise out in front of everybody. I give bonuses. I gamify sales. When somebody does something great and they hit their goal for the day, boom, here's 100. Here's 200. Here's 300. Whatever it may take, right? And then I create a sense of teamwork. I get everybody to work together. I get everybody to drop their differences and become a team, to where we can all get to where we want to go together. I look after them, they look after me. There's a sense of teamwork, and we feel like our team is the team, and there is a bond in that team of loyalty and respect that other teams don't have. That's how I create morale. That's how I create, almost cult-like followings in some of these sales rooms, where, some of the times the companies that I've left, as a consultant, as soon as I leave them, their people are blowing me up. Dakota, we want to work with you. Now that you're gone, we don't actually want to be here anymore. We want to come work with you. So liking bias is very, very important. Part number 5, let's take a look at this reciprocity bias. The next foundational component of influence and persuasion is, of course, reciprocity. Now, reciprocity is a social rule in the human culture that highlights the importance of repaying another person who provides a favor, gift, or a concession of some kind. Reciprocity has become so ingrained in human culture today that people will go to great lengths to avoid being seen as a freeloader or a moocher. And, they'll even potentially being shunned from a group. Like, they will get kicked out of a group. Like, you don't want to be a part of a group and be known as the guy who has what David Meeks likes to call crocodile hands, alligator hands. As soon as that bill comes, he's like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be that guy, and that's how you get kicked out of a circle, right? So us as humans, we tend to want to return the favor when someone helps us out. So I fight for checks when I go out to eat. And I always reach for the check first thing because that's my duty, right? Now, if I take someone out a lot and I'm constantly paying for their meal and they don't reciprocate, it starts to build some type of resentment at some point. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years, whatever it may be. But even though that I don't mind doing it, and I have the money to doing it, and I don't care about it, and it doesn't make any difference. Either they're going to go, I'm going to go with somebody else. Over time, you start thinking about it. Why the fuck doesn't this guy ever pay for anything or even offer to pay for anything? Doesn't matter, what the level is. One person in particular, he hasn't paid for a meal for me for a year. And he makes FU money, but I know where the reason why that is. But it builds some type of resentment. You know what I'm saying? So, when we want to return those favors to people who help us, this can be good at times, but it can also lead to poor decisions if you reciprocate business deals based off very, very, very minor favors, right? However, this is a very powerful tool when it comes to influence and persuading. Just think about this. Let's say that your neighbor on Christmas walks over to your doorstep, rings your doorbell, knocks on the door the day before Christmas Eve. And you come to the door, he says, "Hey Dakota, good to see you, buddy. Wanted to stop by, I got you a gift." And he pulls around from his back this massive green box. And in that green box, you see a Rolex logo right on the top of it. And you open it up, he gives it to you, and it's disrespectful to decline the gift because that would be rude. So you accept the gift, which is an $18,000 GMT Rolex, and the moment that you shut that door, you walk inside, you feel this crazy feeling where you're like, fuck, I got to repay this guy. I got to do something quick. I got to give him a $40,000 watch. I got to take him on vacation. You're trying to one up what he gave you, because you want to reciprocate of something with more value than he did. So one of the things that gets me a lot of deals is I use this reciprocation deal very, very, very hard. When it comes to getting into organizations, I have found the key players in companies on their birthdays. I have sent gifts. I have sent thousands of dollars worth of jewelry to people. I have sent handwritten notes. I'm constantly giving and giving and giving and giving. And the deals that take longer than most deals, I can use this bias to get in with the right people in the company that have the influence in the company to influence the decision maker to get to where they want to go. Matter of fact, I even influence people within organizations to get me to the top of the organization, to get me to close the deal. And this is how I do it. I do it through reciprocity, right? So marketers have been using this component for decades. When you see these free ebooks, these free product samples, free trials, free product or free service demos or free live trainings, this is what they're using. Everybody uses it all the time. Now, I know this component seems very simple, but don't freaking underestimate the power of this. I have closed legit six-figure deals by leveraging reciprocity and providing tons of gifts, tons of experiences to potential prospects that I want to do business with. I typically open with a gift unless somebody goes through my webinar and schedules a call with me, or one of my reps. When I was actually taking calls when we first launched it, That was different because I already gave them something. I gave them a $2,000 strategy session for free. So I don't really worry about that. But when I'm trying to take down a big company or do a big deal, I'm gifting my way to the top, man, every single time. And if I got to trade a $10,000 Rolex to do a $250,000 deal, or if I got to trade $500 to show that I value a CEO's time and I'm willing to pay him $500 just to show up on a call with me for 60 minutes so I can close him on a six-figure deal, I'm all in. So listen, guys, give, ask, close. That's the process. You want to give. The more that you give, the better that the relationship becomes. And they will literally work for you if you give them enough and you help them enough. That's how you do high-level deals. You give. Who gives a damn if you got to trade $5,000 in gifts to get a $100,000 deal to close? That's the problem with sales professionals. They don't think. They know they got a 10% commission on a $100,000 deal, but they're not willing to put any of their skin in the game and invest in their own deal to make those deals close. They blame everybody else, not me. When it comes to getting a deal closed, I'm doing whatever it takes. I'm looking at the analytics. I'm looking at the data. If I got to trade $2,000 to make $100,000, shit, that's good money return. Even if I'm making a 10% commission, I just traded $2,000 to make $8,000. Who gives a damn? It's about getting the deal done, whatever it takes, right? So that's the key there. So recently, I had a large manufacturing company on my radar. This company was doing over $50 million a year in revenue. They had about 100 employees, and the CEO of the company gets pitched 24/7, 365. So I pitched their marketing director at the time, who happened to be in a relationship with the CEO. We started with closing on a very entry-level $25,000 deal. Once I got involved in the deal, I realized, how much help they really needed. It was outside the scope of work that we originally agreed to, and I couldn't operate at my full potential and do my best until we addressed some other matters that needed to be fixed, and that was outside of the scope of work. So I proposed that they brought me in as a consultant to help them figure out all this stuff, help them consult with their marketing, their CRM, their sales team, and really build an actual system and focus on the sales operations of the company, because they literally had none. It was a fucking nightmare. And I told them to do that. I could only do, X amount of hours a month. I think it was maybe 20 hours a month. And, I'm $1,000 an hour. So I told them it'd be $20,000 a month. Now, keep in mind, at the point that this conversation occurred, I hadn't even delivered the deliverables in the first agreement yet. Like, we were 30 days into this deal. And I knew the best way to a man's heart was through his woman, right? So I built a relationship with this marketing director. And when her birthday came around, I surprised her with nearly $500 worth of Bed Bath & Beyond. The same exact night, the CEO of the company was taking pictures of her holding all the gifts and the books that I got her. And after this, he sent me a text and said, "Thank you so much, Dakota. I really appreciate you." And then, guess what happened? The marketing director went to work. I gifted her. She had to reciprocate, and she pulled every single string that she could. She pushed people out of the way. She pushed a CEO out of the way, a COO out of the way, a CFO out of the way, and she made them sign the deal and pay me $20,000 a month. So my question to you, that's $20,000 a month that giving gifts basically ended up with. I may have spent $800 total on the books and everything else that I got her. So my real question to you is, would you guys trade $800 for a $240,000 a year income from just one single consulting deal? I mean, that's the power of reciprocity. And if you want to know how I've got 6 of those exact same deals, this is how. Reciprocity. I use the hell out of it in almost every interaction that I'm involved in, all the time. So don't let this down, because it's a super valuable component here. Now, last but not least, let's talk about part number 6. The scarcity bias, which is another very, very, very important bias that you guys can leverage, and you guys should be leveraging in every interaction that you partake in. So let's talk about this. Last but not least, let's talk about it. All right. So the final foundation that we're going to talk about today when it comes to influence and persuasion is something called scarcity. We all know what scarcity is, but scarcity refers to the supply and demand, right? Effectively, the more regular or readily something is available to someone, the less important that it is. So you can often see this with material items. When people launch limited edition chairs, limited edition, Game Boys, limited edition watches that are a different color, different spec, and they're limited production, people actually pay way more, they chase, they do way more, and there's demand around that, right? So people chase that which moves away from them, and they always have, and they always will. Why? Because people don't want something that's common. They want something that's exclusive. They want something that's limited. They want something that's special. And let's be real, we all want to stand out. Now you're probably wondering, hey Dakota, how in the world does, this apply to influencing and persuading someone? Well, the answer is pretty damn simple. You need to make sure that you convince them that you are in demand, you are the prize, you have the talent, and you bring the talent to the game. They have the money. Everyone has money. Money's easy to get. Talent's not. They got the money, you got the talent. They need the talent, and in order to get the talent, they got to trade the money to get the talent, right? So you are only available as long as you wish to make yourself available. This instantly increases your value. You can do this with anyone. Reject the first attempt to do a deal together. Push them away. In the dating world, don't close on the first night. Be an actual gentleman. Take her home on the first night and hang out, watch a movie, but don't try to close. And then when she's texting you or when you're texting him, don't be so needy. Don't reply to text messages right off the bat. Wait an hour or so. Now, I personally put deadlines on every deal that I do, and I use scarcity in every single deal that I do. And the reason why is, our most popular service is $65,000. It's a pretty high level commitment to sell. And I'll often incentive-based close a prospect by just simply saying this, hey, John, I'm going to let you dictate where this relationship goes. I'm going to shoot you over this agreement. It's going to be discounted from $65,000 to $45,000, but here's the damn catch. The deal's going to have a 7-day window on it. If it is not signed within those 7 days, I can, 1, promise you that I don't know if I'm going to be able to service you personally, and 2, if I can, it's not going to be for the 45, it will be for the 65. So can you make this a priority? Because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to chase you the hell around. If I have to chase you around to make this a priority, to make growing your business a priority, dude, we're not a fit for each other. Nothing me, God, Donald Trump, or anybody else can do to help you because you got a mindset problem. You got a mentality problem, and I'm not a psychologist, right? So that's how I would do it. Now, scarcity is a very powerful tool, and if you learn to use it correctly, in week 2 of the Sell Ops program, I'm going to show you how to apply all this scarcity covertly and incovertly in your human hacking alchemy scripts so you can apply scarcity with ease in all of your interactions. But everything must have some scarcity to it. So let's take a look at the recap of the 6 foundational components here that make up influence and persuasion. In all of your human hacking efforts, you must know before entering the interaction how you are going to leverage all 6 of these foundational components of influence and persuasion. The first question that you must ask yourself as a social engineer is, how am I going to leverage authority in this interaction to make the subject perceive me as an authoritative figure, an expert, and of course, a force to be reckoned with? That is the first question that you must ask yourself. Second, you need to ask yourself, hey, how am I going to leverage social proof to raise my status and force the subject to chase me? Third, You must ask yourself, how can I leverage commitment and consistency in my interaction so I can show the subject that I am rational, I am trustworthy, and I am very stable? 4, how can I leverage the liking bias so I can make sure that the subjects are in sync, that we build real rapport, and everything is managed and scaled in a proper format? 5th, how can I leverage the reciprocity bias so I can make sure that the subject feels the need to give back to me after I give to them, or give my time to them, or give my expertise to them, or give my strategy to them? How do I make sure that they want to reciprocate that? And 6th, how can I leverage the scarcity bias to show the subject that I'm the prize, I'm limited, I'm in demand, and everybody is fighting for my time? If they don't do a deal with me, their competitors will. There's the 6 questions that you must ask yourself, and these 6 fundamental components of influence and persuasion. Now, you're going to need a game plan for each one of these foundational components. And if you want to dramatically increase your influence and persuasion abilities, you must leverage all 6 of these components so you can stack the deck in your favor and make your human hacks inevitable. If you miss one of these components, you've decreased your influence and persuasion by literally 20%. If you miss 2 of these components, you've decreased your influence and persuasion by 40%. If you miss 3 of these components, you've decreased your influence and persuasion by 60%. Therefore, 75% of professionals in sales are operating at 40% of their potential because they are not hitting all these in every interaction. Now, I use these in every single interaction, and I leverage every one of these components in all of my marketing efforts, all of my sales efforts, all of my leadership efforts, all of my training efforts, and mastering these 3 components and constantly asking myself these questions that I asked you on the previous slide has made me super powerful and able to influence and persuade entire companies. Teams. When something goes wrong, and at the one company I'm at right now, when it comes to consulting, when something goes wrong in another department, they bring me in. They call me the morale guy. They want me a part of it. They want me to lead it. They want me to control it because it's what I'm good at. So when shit blows up or something needs to be done, I'm constantly the guy that they want to bring in and do it. Why? Because I can influence, I can persuade, and I can move people. I can get them to take actions that other people would be super brash, super hard with them, and just have resentment for them. I can lead. And the best way to lead is to make your people super successful. If your people's lives are getting better year after year, from a $10 an hour employee all the way to a $500,000 C-suite employee, no matter what the circumstances are, if they are growing, if they are progressing, they will be happy. That's how you tell if somebody's a real leader, based off the people around them and how their people succeed. I'm not worried about me anymore. I'm not worried about Dakota. You know what drives me? Seeing you guys fucking win. Seeing you guys posting that Facebook. Seeing you guys buy cars that you thought you couldn't afford a year ago. See you guys traveling, coming to the masterminds, enjoying yourself. Seeing some of you guys make more money than I've ever seen people make in such a short amount of time. That's what empowers me. That's what I live for. That's my passion, right? To see you guys progress. So the reason why I say this is because I use these components to do all of that. I use authority. I use social proof. I use commitment and consistency. I use liking. I use reciprocity, and I use scarcity. In everything that I do 24/7. All the time. So I want to get you guys to be able to commit to me, and most importantly to yourself, that you're going to be able to start leveraging all 6 of these foundational components. I don't care if you've got calls tomorrow, if you've got calls today. I want you to start asking yourself these damn questions and download this slide below this video and make sure that you remember these questions. If you don't want to download the slide, print it, whatever, get your notebook out, write these down and post them on your wall. And start making sure that you're leveraging in all your calls. Now in week 2, I'm going to show you how to do all this, so you're not going to have to worry about it. But it's something that you can remember and you can start using right now. But in week 2, I'm going to show you how to take all these 6 components. I'm going to show you how to create a human hack and alchemy script based off everything that we learned in week 1 to where you can literally human hack your way into anything. Simple as that. So again, as we talked about in the first video of week 1, I wanted to simply go ahead and reward you guys for completing this. So with that being said, if you go directly below this video, you're going to notice a gold giveaway link in the homework section. Go ahead and click that link, complete the action steps in there so you can enter for the actual giveaway. And of course, we announced those winners live in the Facebook group, but I wanted to put this at the very end of it to see how many people would actually make it to the end of it. And believe it or not, you did okay as far as the first group of people that came through this. You guys did pretty well. I would like to increase those numbers to get 90% of people here, but some people fall off, unfortunately, and I can't control that. So go ahead and make sure in the homework section that you fill that bad boy out. That is your main homework from today. Go down, apply for that, check out the resource center. Any action steps that are in the homework, of course, take care of those. And yeah, enter for that giveaway. And then once you enter for that giveaway, post a comment in the Facebook group and just let us know what you thought about week 1. Literally think about it. Like, put in the Facebook group what you honestly learned from week 1. What is the biggest takeaway? What is the most valuable thing that you took from this and applied in your life that made instant results, so we can mark this module as completed? Thank you guys again. It's been an incredible journey on week 1. Week 2, you're going to be hearing a little bit more about me since we set the foundation with me. Week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12, you're going to start meeting the collective. On week 3, we're going to be bringing in my right-hand guy, one of my biggest success stories, Antoine Webb, and he's going to be killing it with you guys with our corporate sales expert, Mr. Brady Harris. And those two are going to be doing some objection training that you guys are going to get to see live. We're not going to teach you some bullshit documents. We're not going to, tell you a couple of little lines to say. We are going to get on it, role play, and actually do it. Take each other through presentations, get to the objection, overcome, stall, re-loop, and get to the close and show you guys how to make some real money. So again, week 2 is going to be insightful. Week 3 is going to be insightful. But I'm serious. I want to congratulate all of you for sticking with this. And thank you for being a part of this journey, joining this journey. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you evolve into true human hackers. Be great, and I'll see you in week 2. Talk to you guys soon.